Hi, everyone. The stock market today basically was a good pullback overall on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, as you can see, finished well off where it opened and its lows. Where it opened is basically what its lows of the day were, and it was able to rally intraday. Late day sell off hit the market across the board, but overall, not that bad. And if you look at the internals, you can see that TSV and MACD still look bullish overall. Neither one look extremely overbought yet. So right now all is well. And then we can also look at the Russell 2000 and see the same thing there. Big tail on that intraday. Same with the IWM, so we can see some volume. And as you can see, it was well below average on the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ. It was also below average and lower than the day before in the New York Stock Exchange. However, the New York Stock Exchange rallied, with that being up 0.18%, and also the Dow Jones Industrial Average leading the way up 0.35%. This tells me that what we have here isn't necessarily anything sinister underneath in the Russell 2000 Nasdaq. We're just going through another process of another rotation process, basically. So today I had a lot of big caps show up on my scans. For instance, they looked better, like Micron, Corning showed up, Merck broke out, Monsanto off the 50-day moving average, and American Express, Ameriprise Financial, excuse me. So bottom line is I had a lot of big cap stocks move. I did get some signals overall. None are good for me. The best one, I guess, is Charles Schwab. It's breaking out of this long consolidation pattern weekly. You can really see it kind of an ascending base, breaking about up above the recent highs. Internals kind of look good. Fundamentals are okay. They're not great, and that goes also with the other potential positions. Com, volumes below average, finished off the high, so not interested in that. And then there was NYLD. NYLD, if I already had a buy stop on it, that would be good. 54.40 is where we'd be long now, and you could still put a limit there if you want to get long. NYLD's got a little too little volume for me. If it had big volume on this surge, yeah, it's buyable. And while it is in my CanSlim scan and it's also in my Perfect Speculator scan, the recent earnings, aren't that, oh wow, I got to get long this stock. So I'm going to pass on NYLD also. So those were, oh, and I'm missing one, Nielsen ratings. You can see Nielsen's coming off the 50-day moving average on below average volume. Everything looks good, really, nothing looks too bad. But that below average volume on a session like today just leaves a lot to be desired. And following the trade that I'm going to go over here in a bit, I'd rather just not. So there are no new long positions. There were other signals that were nice. EXH below the 50-day moving average. INUV below the 200-day moving average, off the 50-day moving average. IMDZ and IPO. I continue to watch INGN, which is not a mining steel iron stock. It is a medical related stock. That is some major accumulation over the past 6 sessions, well above average, as you can see. So we'll be looking for that one to potentially break out higher in a bit. But overall, what do we have to do tonight? There's only one for sure thing, WPCS. Sadly, this beautiful chart pattern has failed, and it's always funny that some work and some don't. And lately, as has been the case for years now, it does appear that the ones we do take don't work, and the ones that we don't take do work. And for instance, I want to go all the way back to May back here when BWP is in my personal trading diary as being highlighted severely. I severely highlighted this stock to go long, but volume's below average even though it's extremely liquid, and the volume was extremely dead after the update on 5.5. I still decided not to take BWP long. I was immediately notified by price action that I'm an idiot, and then BWP has subsequently rallied nothing but higher since then. I think like a 30% gain, but it still looks great. So that's what happens with that. WPCS doesn't work, so it is a full sell. If you want to go ahead and use the ultimate lows, and 96, I did give that level, you can. However, I'm sorry, I don't think it ever should have closed 105. I think after this move, it should have followed through and worked itself higher immediately, which it did, and then either move sideways or continue to move higher, and it has not done that. So WPCS is a goner, sadly, unfortunately. Didn't want to really see it go. But like I said, if you don't want to sell all of it, you don't have to. Me, I am. It's just down too much today. If it would have gotten a reversal off the low, sure, but it didn't. So there's nothing for me to do on that end, and one of the reasons why I don't want to do anything is because I kind of screwed up this morning, and I got to go over the trade because I got to show you how you should do it next time. So this morning I waited till all of my sells, there weren't many, it was E and I all the way, PCYC 50%, and Baidu 25% because it was down more than 0.026% of my account capital. So we pared back some. That left me with enough cash that I could split up my positions between BDSI, Ledju, and RH. And while none of them were big, I probably got right around 5% capital allowed. So what I was going to do was I was going to split it all up evenly amongst them all. However, this morning I noticed Ledju was gapping down. So what I did was I went 2% BDSI, 2% RH, and 1% Ledju. Obviously, should have gone 5% Ledju. So BDSI is fine. Obviously, it looks fine. It's what you want to see happen. And RH is technically fine. That's what you want to see happen. So everything is good with those two stocks. The big problem was Ledju. So what normally should have happened was my limit order was at 1461, the close the day before. I see it's gapping down, and at the time at 14. 14 is just a couple cents off that low a day, so I was like, you know what, need to take this position off. However, after the open, Ledju traded down a little bit and started to rally back, and I got that feeling that this thing was going to fly. When you get that feeling and see that the morning gap down isn't following through, and this company, the earnings per share and sales growth is absolutely fantastic. Margins are up again, and look at the estimates for next year. This is a great Chinese company, so with real growth in earnings and sales, like some of them have been showing lately, that are just incredible numbers, incredible, outstanding, astonishing numbers. So what you do here is, since it gaps down at 14, starts to move higher, what the normal procedure would be is for me now to realize, okay, this could go run further. And then what you do is you put your buy stop at 1462, or you put it at 1478, or excuse me, 1480 if you want to see it close above the high of the day of the previous session first. Me, 1461 is where my limit wants to be, so if the thing comes back up to 1461, I obviously want to be long, should have had a buy stop in at 1462. I did not, and it cost me. The stock is up almost 12% on the day, and I'm sitting with none of it. After it got past 1642, I was like, oh shit, and I put in my limit at 1461, and unfortunately 1462 was never seen again, much less 1461, and then I got to watch it go all the way out at 1635. Great pattern. Great long signal. Just what didn't trade it right. And it's a lesson learned by me, but it's a methodology that at least I now know works, that I need to follow up with the earnings winners when they do gap down after hours. I mean, when you have earnings per share and sales growth over 50% quarter after quarter after quarter, and it looks like you're going to have 50% sales and earnings growth and your margins are increasing, you've got to watch how it reacts on a slight gap down. Now, I know that you can be like, well, it could have been like Noah, and it could have done what Noah did. Yeah, that's very true, except for after Noah was giving its signal, it was already showing that it didn't really want to move higher, and then it's got a really weak day before pattern, and then you get that. With Ledju, we had all the indications that it should go higher, and it was just a great looking technical pattern. Bottom line, this is what I was staring at all night last night. Just a high quality breakout, and just a mistrade, but it's a lesson learned, and that's all you can ask for. What lesson did we learn? We learned if we gap down with a huge earnings winner, we got to watch it. And if we were going to go long the day before, if we wanted to get long at 1461, that means as soon as it trades at 1461, we got to get long. So great lesson learned, not a big deal. What I want to do tonight, if I do go long anything, I'm looking at buy stops in THRM. If you have cash available, do it. Put buy stops in at THRM. Put buy stops in at Priceline. Put buy stops in at HBI. Put buy stops in at LGIH. If you have the capital, put buy stops in Grub. Put buy stops in EMS and HCLP. HCLP and EMS are from my Perfect Speculator scan, so that should make you very excited because these are the stocks, like I said, that continue to do the best out of anything. So EMS and HCLP are the two probably top candidates with THRM, but the ones that could possibly move the most are obviously the IPOs, LGIH and GRUB. So it's whatever your personal flavor is. Thank you.